Have you ever started masturbating and just not finished? Whether it was by choice or because you got distracted, interrupted, or just weren't feeling it, it happens more often than most people think. But no one really talks about it. Orgasm is usually seen as the goal, the finale, the whole point of the act. So when that part doesn't happen, we're left wondering, what now? Is something wrong? Is it unhealthy? Or is it actually okay? At Psych2Go, our mission is to create a safe and open space for people to explore the parts of mental health and human experience that often get overlooked or even judged. Sexuality, including how we connect with our own bodies, plays a big role in our mental well-being. That's why today, we're diving into what happens when you masturbate without reaching orgasm. We'll look at the mental, emotional, and physical side effects, the benefits, the drawbacks, and the things no one tells you. Our goal is to break the silence around these lesser discussed experiences and help you get more in tune with your body and mind. Let's begin. Mental awareness and connection. Masturbation is usually seen as a stress reliever, and that's often because of the feel-good hormones released during orgasm. But what if you skip that part? What if you pause halfway or never reach the peak at all? Masturbating without climax can shift your relationship with pleasure and bodily awareness. Without the pressure to finish, you might become more mindful of your own sensations, preferences, and turn-ons. It turns the act into more of an exploration than a sprint to the finish line. Some therapists even encourage this kind of practice, often called edging or non-goal-oriented touch, as a way to reduce anxiety around sex and reconnect with your body without judgment. When you remove orgasm from the equation, you're more likely to tune into the journey, the little things that actually make the experience enjoyable. Over time, this could rewire how you perceive pleasure and even help undo some of the effects of overstimulation or performance pressure. Emotional response. Let's talk emotions. Not orgasming during masturbation can lead to a mix of feelings, sometimes frustration, especially if you were trying to climax but couldn't. But it can also lead to relief, especially if you felt pressure to relieve yourself but didn't really want to in the first place. It can even give you a space to understand whether you're masturbating out of boredom, habit, emotional stress, or genuine desire. When orgasm isn't the goal, you might realize how often we use it to self-soothe or distract ourselves. And there's nothing wrong with that, but having that awareness gives you more control. You might feel less dependent on climax as a form of release and more interested in the underlying emotions that you're experiencing. In this way, stopping from orgasm can actually make you more emotionally intelligent, even if it doesn't feel all that satisfying in the moment. Physical effects. Okay, so what about your body? Is there any harm in not orgasming after arousal? The short answer is not really. But there are some sensations you might notice. Some people report temporary discomfort or a fullness in the pelvic area, especially men, sometimes called blue balls or vasocongestion. It's harmless, but annoying. For women, it might feel like a lingering sensitivity or unspent energy. The good news? Your body naturally reabsorbs all that arousal buildup. No medical crisis, no health emergency, just a little inconvenience at most. Over time, regularly choosing to not climax may even help us with issues like premature ejaculation or sexual anxiety, because your body becomes less dependent on instant gratification. And in some cases, it can even enhance future orgasms. When you build up arousal without always releasing it, your body gets more sensitive, and the eventual climax, whether minutes or days later, can feel stronger and more satisfying. Building better habits. Choosing to not orgasm during masturbation doesn't have to be a sign of dysfunction. It can actually be a powerful form of self-discipline, exploration, or healing, especially if you're trying to cut down on compulsive habits, porn use, or just want to reset your relationship with pleasure. Think of it like skipping dessert, not because you're punishing yourself, but because you're learning to enjoy the meal itself. It's about being curious, being intentional, and realizing that pleasure isn't always about reaching a goal. Sometimes it's about learning to sit with desire instead of always chasing the high. Over time, this kind of practice can make partnered sex more enjoyable, help you become more in control of your cravings, and reduce anxiety around performance. You might even find that pleasure feels less like a pressure and more like a choice. Topics like this aren't always advertiser-friendly, and this video might get demonetized, but we felt it's incredibly important to talk about. If you found it helpful or believe more people should have access to open conversations like this, you can help support our work by checking out the links in the description box. Thanks so much for watching, and if you want more honest, stigma-free content around mental health and sexuality, don't forget to subscribe to Psych2Go. We'll see you next time.